Hello everyone, this is the first video of my new YouTube channel, Bracelet Bracelet. Here I will be showing you how to make knotted projects like these. Today I will be showing you how to make a simple bowl like this one. To make this, you will need 7 skeins of string, tape, and a hard surface. This video will pick up at the end of Bubbly Craft's tutorial on how to make the mandala flower, link in the description below. However, I will be providing tips and tricks on making the flower easier. Now I have all of my strings cut and my first string taped down. Before I cut my strings, I like to make something like this, where you have a little sample piece of each of your strings. And I have put my border string here, so for this bowl it is the gray, and then your other colors in the order you want them. So for me, that is rainbow order. So now I will just attach my strings. What I like to do is, instead of attaching them in each of them for each petal individually, I like to attach the strings for all of the petals at once. So get your string, let's slip the 2 ends under it from the top to the bottom and through the loop. And it is perfectly fine if it spreads out like that. It is normal. So I will just attach all my strings and get back to you when I'm done. So now I have all of my strings attached, and it is time for me to add in the first color, which is pink. So just take it, put the 2 ends together, and find the middle. Cross those, bring your base string through it, and again, make sure it's in the middle with the string under it at the top. Lace it under, through, and bring the 2 ends together, hold the string down, and there you go. That's your first knot. So I like to do this on all of my colors before actually starting any of the knots for the petal. So bring that down with the strings, with the other string, and then just repeat that process. It might take a little while, but that's fine. These things take time. So work on that until you have all of your strings attached. Now I have all of the strings for my first color attached. You should have an extra string. This will be used to make your 7th petal later on after your first 6 have been made. Do not cut another base string and attach the pink to it. I repeat, do not do this. You will have just wasted string and it is pointless. You do not need an extra string. You will use this extra pink later on. But for now, just set it aside and continue adding on the other strings. You will have 1 extra of all of the others except for the first one, because that one, the extra string is already being used to attach your other strings to. Be careful when adding in your second string that you don't do it over your first string, because you will need your first string later on. So, like you did before, through, up, over and around, through, even it out, tighten, and then bring your string up. Don't worry if your knots when adding in the strings aren't perfectly neat. When I first learned how to make this, mine were not neat at all. And I will show you my first bowl later on. Now that you have attached the strings for all 6 of your petals, slide 5 of those petals down to one end. Take the remaining petal and slide it on the string in front of you. You'll make the petals by taking the string at the top, which for me is pink, and crossing it over your other colors. The string at the bottom, which is the same color as this one, knot onto it, like this. And then do it on the other side. Your petals will continuously get bigger because each time you're doing it, you're adding in one string. Don't worry too much about how scrunched up your petals are, because as long as you take breaks and give yourself time to make them, they shouldn't scrunch up. I didn't give myself breaks when making my first bowl, and the petals scrunched up like this. It didn't affect the rest of the bowl too much, but you definitely want to try to keep your petals flat, because then it just gives the bowl an overall nicer look and a flatter base. To keep your attached petal strings from sliding around on your main string, like this, take the top string and do the knot onto the base strings like you would start any petal. This way, your strings don't slide around while you're working. It will look like this when you're done. Repeat this process for all 6 petals. Now that you have finished making your first 6 petals, follow Bubbly Craft's instructions on how to finish the mandala flower. Now that your mandala flower is complete, tape it down so that it looks like this. I will be showing you how to make the chevrons facing 2 opposite directions. This is unlike how I've made my previous bowls. In the new one, my first row and my third row of petals will be facing the opposite direction of these chevrons, and the second and fourth half row will be facing the same direction. Why don't we get started? Don't worry if your petals have scrunched up. It won't affect the bowl. And if your petals are too loose, the chevrons that you make will pull it together, so the bowl won't be affected. Make the chevrons for all of the petals, being sure to not knot over the color you did for your outline, because that color will be the final color of your chevron. Here are our complete chevrons. I like to work on one side entirely and then on the entire other side. So that's what I'm going to do here. Take your 4th color and do what you would do for the first half of a chevron, like this. But do not do it on the other side yet. Okay, now that you have completed your 4th color on one side, you'll now move on to your 5th color. Only do 2 knots with this color. So for me, that would be onto the pink strings and the yellow strings. Okay. Now to do your 6th color. You will only be doing 1 knot with this color, so for me, that is onto the pink string. There we go. Now, I like to take whatever color you use for your border. So for me, dark teal, and to knot those 2 together again. This way, they're both a little bit higher. Now, to make the flat border, you will knot onto the strings. starting with your first color, then your sixth color, second color, fifth color, third color, and finally the fourth color. Repeat this in reverse on the right side, and then when you get to the point where the strings meet, just knot the two together. Then repeat this for all of your petals. Now that you have completed your first 3 rows of chevrons, it is time to move on to the fourth and final row. For this row, you will be doing complete chevrons with your first 3 colors. Now that you have finished making your bowl, simply cut off the excess strings so that you have a little fringe. And there you go, you have a nice little bowl.